Good morning, family. Welcome to CSW Morning Devotion. Today's Sunday, April 7th. Let's begin by greeting our beloved Heavenly Parent and true parents. Chenjian Champumnimge Kyungbae. Paro. Now for our family pledge, let's welcome Pastor Milhan Stevens.
가정맹세 1. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조 이상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과皇族권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조 이상인 천주대 가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 자녀를 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 자녀극 주인 우리 가정은 참 사랑을 중심하고 자녀극 시대를 맞이하여 절대신앙, 절대사랑, 절대복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상천국과 천상천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Thank you, Pastor Milhan. Now for opening prayer, I'd like to invite Reverend Corley. Reverend Corley, could you please unmute and pray for us today?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, all right. Please join me in prayer. Our Heavenly Parent, true parents of heaven and earth and humankind, we greet you on this brand new morning, Sunday morning. We thank you for the opportunity to gather each morning and to go over the words of True Mother, which appear in her memoir. This allows us to get to know her much better as we can see the world and the history of true parents' life through her eyes, and can come to know the feminine side of your nature as never before. We're grateful that we have the opportunity to read it several times over these past months, and in the process get to understand more deeply True Mother's heart and mind and heart. So thank you again for this opportunity and for being able to gather each morning to go through this and experience your heart more deeply. Thank you again. I offer this prayer and report these things. My name, Tom Corley, of the Corley family. Adieu.
Adieu. Thank you, Reverend Corley. Thank you. Okay, brothers and sisters, now it's time for our Hundake reading. We're reading from the Mother of Peace, our True Mother's memoir, and we're up to episode number 15. Pastor Milha.
Kathleen, thank you, Reverend Corley, for your prayer. Do we have a volunteer reader this morning?
Yeah, I can read if you like. I can read.
Oh,
That'd be
great.
great.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. A memoir by Hak Jahan Moon, Chapter 2. I came into this world as the only begotten daughter. On Jeju, as we had everywhere, my mother led me on the path of sainthood for the Lord, with no thought of worldly matters. And this fit my emerging personality very well. I read biographies of holy women and devoted myself to the ideal of complete purity in preparation to receive my calling as the daughter of God. Once settled in Seowipo, I enrolled in Shinhyo Elementary School as a 5th grader. At the age of 11, while my classmates were running around and playing, I lived a rigorous and strict life of faith with my grandmother and mother. I devoted myself to prayer, study, and worship. My mother soaked flattened barley in water and added it to radish kimchi for her raw food diet, while I ate millet porridge. Even though weak due to nutritional privation, when she saw farmers working the barley fields, my mother could not resist helping with the plowing. If she saw someone having difficulty carrying a load, she would volunteer to carry it for them. Without her saying a word, people were filled with admiration. I never met such a thoughtful person, one village woman would say to another, who would respond, "That's what I'm saying. I heard she's a regular churchgoer, but still she is so different from others." My mother lived the exemplary life of an authentically religious person, always putting her faith into practice by helping others. She studied the Bible and shared with me the teachings of the Holy Lord Church and the inside the womb church that Jesus would return as a man in the flesh, just as he had come 2,000 years ago, that he would find his holy bride and hold the marriage supper of the Lamb, as the Bible prophesies, and that all this would take place in Korea. From her, I learned the meaning of Jesus' second advent and could imagine it and taste and touch it. And from my mother, I learned the meaning of true discipleship. My uncle, who had rescued us at the outbreak of the Korean War, married at the end of that war, and grandmother Jo went to live with him and his new bride in Seoul. Within a few months, she was longing to see her daughter and granddaughter, and she came to visit us on Jeju Island. While she was with us, my uncle was posted to the city of Chuncheon, some 50 miles northeast of Seoul. He sent us an abrupt but clear message. Please wrap up your life on Jeju and move to Chuncheon. Grandmother Jo urged us to comply, saying softly with the pleading eyes of a loving matriarch, "My only pleasure in life is to have Hakja nearby and take care of her every day." That was it. In February 1955, we all three departed Jeju, bound for Chuncheon. My mother rented a small room for us in the Yaksa-dong neighborhood, and my grandmother lived with my uncle's family nearby. I enrolled in Bongui Elementary School and soon entered the 6th grade. On the school grounds stood a big sycamore tree, its circumference greater than I could reach around. I read books under its abundant shade in the hot weather. There was a coal briquette factory next to the school, and my shoes would be covered with black soot when I walked past. All this springs out fresh in my memory. In the next year, 1956, I graduated from elementary school. I was 13 and received my graduation certificate after having attended 4 different schools. Though I had been a student in Bangui but 1 year, I was honored at the graduation ceremony with an award for doing well in my studies. God finally responded to my mother's ceaseless prayers and pleadings. His care for her once again was extended through John Suk Chan, our friend from the Holy Lord Church. Mr. Jong remembered the last words of his late mother, the Holy Lord Church founder, Reverend Kim Song-do. If someone fails to accomplish what God has entrusted him to do, it must be accomplished through someone else. The group to which the Lord is coming will be accused and slandered as a sex cult. Its members will be persecuted and imprisoned. If you hear of such a church, know that it may be the true church, and that you should personally investigate it and decide for yourself. So Mr. Jong diligently traveled the country to participate in revival meetings. He did not find what he was looking for until May 1955, when he read in the Dong-A Ilbo, a Seoul newspaper, about an incident at Ewha Women's University. 5 Ewha professors had been fired from the faculty for joining a group called the Unification Church, led by a man they called Teacher Moon, and 14 students had been expelled from the same school for the same reason. Sensing the spirit of his prophetic mother, Mr. Jong sent a letter with the newspaper clipping to his older sister in Busan. His sister took a look at the clipping and, without thinking twice, booked passage to Seoul with her daughter. They arrived and found their way to Jangcheong-dong headquarters of the Unification Church, but were unable to meet its leader at that time. The members told her the location of the Unification Church in Busan, and she returned home. From there, she informed her younger brother what had happened and that there was another Unification Church branch in Daegu. Jung Sung Chan visited the church in Daegu, listened to the Divine Principle lectures, accepted its teachings, and joined. Then, out of the blue, 10 days later, the local group was sent reeling. On July 4th, Teacher Moon and several of his church members were incarcerated at Saedamon prison in Seoul. Mr. Jung traveled to Seoul to visit Teacher Moon in prison. In that visit, he received inspiration and encouragement. Mr. Jung knew that he had found the one whom Jesus had sent. Some 3 months later, on October 4th, Teacher Moon was acquitted of all the charges for which he had been imprisoned. At that point, Mr. Jung secured his family's support in Daegu and moved to Seoul to devote himself full-time to God's will. After his release from Saedamon, Teacher Moon visited Daegu. At that time, I was 12 years old, living with my family in Chuncheon, several hours north of Daegu. One morning, my mother told me that she had a dream of cuddling a white dragon in her arms. She did not know what the white dragon symbolized, nor what it meant to cradle it in her arms, but she said that something earth-shaking was about to transpire. That very day, she received a letter from Mr. Jong about his meeting the Divine Principle movement and meeting Teacher Moon in prison, and who Teacher Moon is, and that Teacher Moon was in Daegu. My mother left for Daegu immediately, only to find that Teacher Moon had returned to Seoul. My mother felt deep regret, and while staying overnight in Daegu, she had another dream. In it, she saw a pair of golden dragons prostrating themselves in the direction of Seoul. With this vision carved into her heart, she took the train to Seoul the next morning and proceeded to the Unification Movement's newly purchased headquarters, church in Changpadong. It was early in December 1955. There she met the teacher of the Unification Church for the first time. The moment she greeted him, she realized that the white dragon in her arms represented none other than him, and that he was the one who one she had been seeking. She was deeply moved to meet in her lifetime on earth the Lord at the second advent, for whom she had suffered and sacrificed for 3 decades. She stayed at Changpadang to study the principle and heard teachings that put together what she had learned in the Holy Lord Church and the Inside the Womb Church. With each lecture, her eyes were opened and her initial inspiration was confirmed. At times, she pondered the meaning of her dream of the pair of golden dragons. Not coming up with anything, she put that out of her mind. Despite my mother's admiration of him, and in contrast to his affectionate openness with everyone else, Teacher Moon related to my mother in a formal and reserved fashion. As a result, she felt empty and a little bit isolated, with a feeling of lack of love lodging in her heart. She invested in prayer silently, without rest, erasing from her soul all the concepts and expectations she may have had about whom she was going to meet. Then one Sunday, Teacher Moon preached a sermon about the heart of Jesus. He said the people of Israel did not welcome Jesus, who came as their true Father. They allowed him to die on the cross and asked the congregation, "Do you know how great was the sin they committed?" Upon hearing this, my mother withdrew into a corner of the church. There, she wept, crying her heart out for the remainder of the service. Teacher Moon viewed this, and after the service, he called to my mother and consoled her, saying, "A person anointed by God must pass the test of Satan as well as that of heaven." At that, like the snow melting in springtime, all sorrow disappeared from my mother's heart. Her faith in God became stronger than it ever was. Soon thereafter, she returned to Chuncheon to commence pioneer work for the Unification Church.
Thank you, Reverend Corley. Thank you.
For your reading, Reverend Corley. Very exciting times.
Yep.
Being the Lord of the second advent. Any reflections, comments, questions, inspirations, revelations, keywords? Yeah.
Yeah, that the first, I think I went to one of the first meetings where Mother was, I say, derobing people. She was changing people, and she was, saying that people did not. She was thanking people and loving them, and giving them gifts. These older people. She was changing God. I never will forget. Damon M was sitting there, I was sitting right in the middle of something of the whole crowd. And Damon M stood up, and I was bowing to her, smiling. She was so pretty, and then I said, "Oh, Damon M," and she went just like that. And then Mother thanked her, and that was it, and gave gifts, right? Like, it's not necessary. She was saying to her, it's not necessary, like, you're not Damon them anymore, and was telling people they didn't have certain positions anymore. But then she came and she was standing. It was like I saw her coming, and I just kind of stood there frozen. And then I said, "Oh," I bowed to her, good morning to Mother, like that. I said, and then she said, "Omanem, call me Omanem," just like that, Omanem, and she was just smiling at me, and I was like nervous. But then she went on into the crowd, and it was like, wow, she was changing it, telling everybody, thank them, giving them gifts, and they didn't have to do what they were doing anymore. Like, she released them, to retire and do something else, I guess. But I just remember her face, and when she was laughing when she looked at me when I said, "Good morning, true Mother," and she went, her face, she was laughing. Omanem, just like that. she wasn't stern, you know, she was like smiling. And I was like, wow. It was like the sunlight was in the room, you know. As she walked up through us, it was like, woo, she had power. I could feel her power, you know. And
Talking about true mother, or are you talking about Daimonim?
no, Damon M was the one that, you know, when I said Damon M, I saw Damon M, then she said, no, Damon M, you know, like this. And then it was mother was coming up through the crowd. And then she was giving people, she was telling people, giving people gifts and telling them it's no more, you know, like this man was in charge, Damon M. They were phasing out, you know, she was like telling them, thank you so much for what you did and everything. And she was coming up by me, and I said, oh, good morning, true mother, you know. And she said, she laughed, she said, no, Omanil, you know, to me, because I was bowing and everything. And she was her face was like, it was just so pretty. It was shiny, just really shiny, you know. But she had so much confidence that day when she was telling people, giving them gifts and telling them, you know, thank you for your service. And, you know, she was saying it to them in Korean, but, you know, the way they were bowing, and then this lady was saying, oh, behind me was saying, oh, you know, and then she said, then I was looking around, then she was telling them that they weren't in those positions anymore. It's like, thank you, you did your job. You know, now it's a whole new providence. You know, she didn't say it that way, but I knew that's what was happening. But she was so confident. She was so confident as she was walking through. So pretty. But she was laughing. No, come on him, you know, to me. But it was really beautiful. I saw the confidence in mother that day. She had so much confidence. And I was like, wow, she's powerful, you know. I could feel her power as she was walking through the group, we had parted the way, and she was walking through the group. It was like, she was so powerful. So, you know, I remembered her from the, you know, first time when she put me out of her room. But the thing is, I could see the difference. You know, I can see the difference now. She was young then, but this time she was like, mother, I am mother, you know. I thought that was beautiful. Yeah, I thought that was beautiful.
That you're talking, Juanita, about when there's a Chunpyong, when mother changed things at Chunpyong, right?
No, in Korea.
Right. That's
yeah. In Korea, yeah. When she was changing them leaders, when she was telling leaders they didn't have certain positions anymore.
Okay.
And someone was kind of sad and surprised. But she told them real nice and gave them gifts. She was changing God. But she was very confident, and smiling, and, you know. So that's when I saw her power, you know, the power God had given her, you know. She was beaming like a light bulb, you know.
When was that, Dr. Juanita? When?
Ooh, that was, I can't even remember. It was when she called a meeting with the leaders, you know, right after father had gone. I can't remember the year. I can't remember. All I remember is being in that room and all the beauty mother had.
Had to be 2013.
Well, it would be later, probably maybe.
I think it was later.
3 years later.
We were in the new building. The building was new. The building was new that we were in. Or either they had refurbished it or something.
2016, maybe 2016.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it was beautiful. The whole thing was beautiful. That's what I can say. And mother was shining like gold, you know.
You know, I was wondering why, like when we do the Abaji Omanis, you don't do Omani. I was wondering why you did Omanim. Now I know.
Yeah, she said, don't call me. She said, no, Omanim. Omanim, just like that too. She was laughing though. She was laughing at me because I was so nervous too. And she was laughing, she was laughing. Like I was so nervous, but she was so pretty. She was so pretty. And
Yeah.
Damon M did this when I said Damon M's name. She said, like that.
Is that when that lady's mission changed, that she
Yeah.
wasn't no longer channeling for
Yeah,
Damon?
yeah. She told all those older leaders, like were head of things. She changed most of them that day.
Mm.
She changed. Some of them was sad though. Some of them looked sad.
Mm.
But she changed people that day. She thanked them so much and gave them. I know it was money she gave them. She gave them these pretty envelopes. But some of them look sad. Some of them look sad. I looked at Damon M and she looked surprised.
Mm.
She looked kind of surprised, but she was so pretty. So pretty.
Damon was alive, and then shortly after that, she passed, or?
No, the lady that was channeling Damon M.
Huh?
The lady that was channeling Damon M.
Oh, that was the
Oh,
humanim.
Humanim, yeah.
What was
Yeah.
her name?
I see.
Kim
what-
Hyun-nam.
Humanim.
Yeah.
Kim Hyun.
Yeah, the one that was channeling Damon M. When I called her Damon M, she said, like this.
Right, she's
She
not.
was real quick. She said,
What was her name, Ayako-san?
Her name is Kim Hyun-nam.
Kim Yona.
Yeah.
This is
We
Kim.
for
Kim.
humanim, right? Humanim, yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I was looking at videos to share today for Sunday, talking about the Chanel Sanctum and the Chunwon-gun. And there was, Dr. Dr. Yoon. Dr. Yoon was up there, explaining the providential significance of this construction, and yeah, you're talking about Hunmanim and all these people, and it's interesting. The whole theme of the blue dragon. We hear the blue dragon, the blue dragon, the blue dragon. Like, it's not about the blue dragon. It's about Mother's theme, which is to blow away the negative energy of the past. That's the point. That's the theme of this year. Okay, so if anyone's wondering why we talk about some blue snake flying in, no, it's not a snake, it's a dragon flying in the sky. It's because it's talking about blowing away the negative energy of the past. And so it's not evil energy, but it's negative energy, right? It's kind of an energy that's like confused, or, oh, what about this or that, or how come these things seem different? And it's like it's about kind of entering a new era, and like Hunmanim, right? A little bit confused. Oh, I thought I was Damonim. I thought I was running things. Like, it's okay. Here's your gift. We appreciate everything you like. Don't think we don't appreciate what you did. We appreciate it. Without you, we would not have all these things. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Mother's in charge now. She wants to take the steering wheel, and that's a good thing. That's a very good thing for us. Mother didn't have to do that. She could have been like, okay, I'll just manage, Mother's like, no, she's the one who can't sleep at night. She's the one who's like, okay, no, I need to hold the steering wheel now. And it's a good thing for us. We get direct leadership under the only begotten daughter. So there's a lot for us to learn this time. And that doesn't mean that when people were in those appointed positions at that time, it was good. God's hand, God's providence was working through them. But they retired, and now, God's eye and God's mouth moves to the next person. And it's his true mother now. So that's what's going on. It's not sure why we're on the subject, but I think Omanim, that's the appropriate title in person. I think that's the title you use as honorific. It's you're not going to say Omani in person. That's not appropriate. Now, Abuji Omani, this is not true parent. We're crying out to God. Abuji Omani, because Omani, true mother, Omanim, she's on the earth. So we're not really calling to her. She's busy there. But Abuji Omani, that's for God. That's like our personal, like a child crying out to their parents. That's what that is. It's a little bit different. We're not like Abuji Omani. No, this is like like a baby crying for the parents. Like that's what that is. So it is a bit different. It's not the honorific in that case.
So we're not supposed to say Abaji Almanim.
No,
Almani.
Omani. This is the Heavenly Mother we're crying out to. Like like Emika crying in the night for the mother's nipple. Like that's
Omani.
Omani. Like that's what that is.
Well, thank you.
That's different.
Clarify that.
So let me just ask a quick clarification here then. Juanita, you heard true mother say to you, call me Omani?
Yeah.
Omonim.
Maybe I heard it, different. I don't speak Korean. So maybe I heard it different, but she said Omani. That's what
No, you're right. No, it's correct. Omonim. If you're gonna refer to mother in person, it's Omonim.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's the honorific. In fact, we still use like the honorifics with true parents.
Okay. Yeah.
Person.
But not when we say Abaji Omani. It's Omani. That's the difference between the two.
Yes. Abaji Omani.
Well, thank you.
In person, if you met true father in person, it'd be abonim in person. Abonim. Omonim in person. Again, that's an honorific, respectful tone. Like you can call me Pastor Milhan, but sometimes in a more formal sense, it'd be Reverend Stevens, right? So if we're at an event, it's Reverend Stevens. If it's like, as a friend, Milhan, or but there's a difference. Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna sort this out right now.
Just like Yoboseo.
On the phone, that's a semi honorific, Seyo, Yoboseo. Polite. That's being polite. But if it's if you greet someone, 안녕, that's very informal. 안녕하세요 is like semi-formal, but more polite. And then 안녕하십니까, that's honorific, that's a respectful. So there's many different levels, in other words.
Yeah, in the street they say Yoboseo, right? In the street.
That's the telephone. That's for the telephone, right? Yoboseo is for the
Yoboseo?
Yeah, that's more of a telephone receiving.
Oh, okay. I hear them say it in the street in Korea sometimes. I thought,
One more quick question. Champomonin ke, what's that? The ke?
Yeah, that's honorific.
It's
like
very honorific.
Two true parents. So you say, there's different ways to say is a regular, but ke that's a honorific.
So after the nim, you add a ge, it's even more honorific. Is that?
Well, right. Well, it's being consistent. There's the suffix is consistent with the article. Like, it's just consistent.
Yeah. With the nim ke.
Pumonim ke. Champumon. And in fact, that's true. It's champumonim. True parent to the nim. So again, it's consistent there too. It's like champumonim ke. Yongbe.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying that, Pastor Milhan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I was studying the family pledge this morning a little bit for the sermon today. Yeah. Anyway, I would like some time to work on it. I'm not quite finished yet.
Okay,
I want to rush, so we could wrap this up now. But my one comment about today's reading, if I may, I had one. Oh, this pair of golden dragons. I'm not sure if they might have followed up with this point later in the book, but I do believe daimonim she had the two dragons come from her. You see, I mean, the dragons, that's true parents, right? I think we know that the pair of dragons, not just the one, but the two. But I think both of them come through Damonim's lineage, right? Her father came from her hometown, and her mother came out of her womb. So I think it's appropriate for her to have that dream. Just wanted to put that out. Quite amazing times. And then father making that extra comment when he saw her in the corner crying. He really felt, someone can really, I mean, Damonim really succeeded in her devotion to attend the true parents. If anyone's the first member, it's her. She's really the first member, the most loyal, the most dedicated follower of true parents. So it's appropriate for her to be leading Cheongpyeong, Providence, and all that. Ayako-san?
Yeah, I have a little, remember the true father's lineage, Moon family moved to North Korea a few generations before. Their original place is at Cheonnanando, Moon clan. Is that the birthplace of a Moon clan? So they went to North Korea, and I don't remember how many generations. So I honestly do not think there were maybe connection. They came from, they went there, become same place as a true mother. But their birthplace of a Moon clan is a different place.
Well, no, not talking about the Moon clan. I'm talking about true father himself.
Okay, that time
right.
right.
So we're not following the Moon clan. Really, we're following the Han clan. And out of this hometown, this place, where Damonim successfully has dedicated her devotion, out of the Moon clan, yes, but father inheriting this mission from Jesus, from Cheongju, this place, this hometown. Does that make sense? So I'm not following the Moon clan. I mean, I don't want to say it's not important, but it's not really what we're focusing on. It's the birth of true. I mean, where true father was born was protect the only begotten daughter, to bring the truth, to reveal make plain Jesus's teachings, everything. So really, in some ways, in parallel to a John the Baptist figure, he's the great one, to lead. And father did that. Father did great things, but for what? To introduce people to the only begotten daughter, to blessing. That really was, because mother, she had to introduce this new truth, right? But it's not a convenient truth that she has to bring into the world. And so she needed the man to kind of to lift her up. And even was not easy for father to do that. Mother's not a very charismatic, outspoken person. She just came from this lineage, and she came from this like the truth in her relationship with God and the blessings inside of her. Father was the outspoken one. He was the one who really had inheriting this voice of God, but really was to lift up mother. He talked about women's era. He talked about all these things, but how to really allow mother to start her ministry was not easy. So here we are, Foundation Day. Father, he's in spirit world. Mother's the one to really lead her ministry, her Cheoneo-guk, her Heavenly Unified Korea, Mother's Cheonwon-gung, Cheoneo Sanctum, all these conditions to create a substantial kingdom of heaven on earth. Mother had to be the one to do it, with father in spirit world working from up there. Anyway.
Pastor Milhan, the white dragon that Damonim was holding in her arms, was that true mother?
No, I think that was true father. That was
The
Father.
white dragon that she was
Yeah.
cuddling in her, this true father? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one she was seeking. I was seeking the second advent. So that was really the, even Mother said it in the book just now, that she found true Father. That was, that's who she was seeking, and they were preparing for. But the inside, right, or there was the second dragon, right? That was the pair. Yeah, I mean, let's be clear. Man came first. Jesus came first. Father came first, and then Eve, and then True Mother. So there has to be that understanding of this order. But yeah, for this time, really, it's the final creation that is True Mother, it's the unbegotten daughter. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Good sharing. Today's day 24 of our second 40-day special devotional period. Are there any prayer requests today? Okay, then let's get ready for our 7 minutes resonance prayer with 3 Abaji on my knees.
Kanchaman resonance prayer, Shijak, Abaji, Omoni, Abaji, Omoni, Abaji, Omoni.
Let's pray.
Good morning, true parents of heaven and earth.
Servants of April
Thank you so much for another day.
2024.
Thank you for waking us up this morning, starting us
I have something that I would like to
on a brand new day. A day of
repent
expectation, a day of
before
challenge,
you.
a day of
And God,
giving, a
even we
day of
don't
serving.
know.
There's so many
Father,
things
we
we can
are
do in one day
led by you.
please God. So many things we
Father, we
can
are
do
the
True
to make our
Mother
mother
as
smile
a
again.
creator.
Things we can
clan, the
do
first clan,
heaven to come
son
down to earth.
raised,
You
and even
You,
the
Heavenly
knowledge
day
Parent,
was a
that in the
you had so
beginning you
much
created
woman.
heaven and earth.
Here there is a
You created heaven and earth. You had a
for
plan.
creation,
That plan was for man and
mankind.
woman to become your son and your daughter.
Father, but nobody, just
True Mother,
mankind,
True
the
mother
Han,
taking
whole
dominion, dear God.
Korean
Maturity,
part of
divine,
son,
taking the world,
universe and cosmos.
and ruling the world, heavenly world, dear God.
Father,
So this morning, dear
you can
God, we're
already
praying for
Han
your divine
is the one that
inherit
understanding,
handles
the essence of
divine femininity, dear God.
core
Unity
values
of
of your
femininity.
creation,
This morning we're praying to understand
how
that,
it
dear God.
is
We're praying
we
to
are,
understand the divineness of these principles, dear
you
God.
are,
grateful to
Because we
you.
know
how we can
Jesus
really
Oh,
came as the
that
Prince of Peace
true Mother as
bring back to
bring the
you
principle,
Mother,
present,
our
yes,
Mother,
principle,
that
life
truly
same, dear God.
Mother once
Father,
mentioned
Thank
we
you
that
so
yes,
much for these
the first
understandings, dear God.
know how to
for
grow,
humanity,
The essence of
we
these
are as
principles.
a
Give them not.
know how to
Give them
mature,
constantly. Know not what
know how to
my will, but thy will be done. The essence
glory,
of being heart, mind, and soul. He gave
deeper
himself
say,
up
area
for you, dear God. He didn't
concept.
think
come.
about
Never
his
imagine
Father,
that.
card, his own
Never imagine
Father,
job,
more and more find out
repentance,
own.
Mother
He didn't think about anything but
our
your
faith,
will to be done.
dependence.
Let us have that in our hearts and our
Father,
minds as we go out.
nothing really putting you here.
And dear God, we praying for healing.
we are
The
amazing.
health of
Our
healing.
family,
No, your
Father
spiritual
God,
healing
and
is in
our
heavenly places.
children just still
Looking for the heavenly
parents.
healing. Keep calling us, dear God.
Father, because
We know that
you
when
don't
heaven
know how to
comes, dear
depend.
God, when thy kingdom comes,
You don't know
we
the
know that
reality.
thy will be done on earth as it
you are
is in heaven.
Create
We know that
love,
every day you will give us
true love,
our daily bread.
absolute
And
true
as we
love.
speak your truth and your love, we
What
know
is
that
your true
everything
love?
will be
Yes.
all right.
No question.
You this morning, pray for America, dear God.
We live here on earth.
For America this morning. All
Father,
the things she's done against us.
knowing you,
We're asking you to forgive America,
knowing
dear
you
God, for
are
not standing up, oh God,
the
when they were being killed, when they were being harmed and
inherit
raped. Give you
to the
America.
next generation.
we pray this morning that
daughter,
she
and to take a
forget,
decision, wrong
so that
decision,
we don't have to forget what
cause
happened, dear
the
God,
evil
but
to
to
enter
forget
into her heart.
forget our sin, but
Therefore, we could
you,
not rule
God,
creation properly. We could not love
Fulfill our portion of
properly, abused
responsibility.
creation, have abused creation,
that simple, but
I
we
should
have to work on it.
the world.
Your will
We have to really
is
cleanse
carrying
our
out the
heart.
providence for
My
whole
mother said
humanity.
she wanted to
Cause
home.
the
When I saw
earth
her face,
In
it was
was
like
not
she was
happy
sunshine,
with
accomplish
what have
clouds,
happened.
the purpose of
Were
creation.
an ideal.
pearls, you know,
We had
just so
fulfilled our
The purpose.
responsibility and we're living
moment.
in an ideal world.
Not in any
A lot of
I
anger,
these
must repent.
things
making a
would not
deep
have
breath
taken
and
place.
just
A lot
saying,
of these
Really understand
it was like, oh,
trivial things would
I
not
the
have
Shinjon
heart, dear God.
for you.
Lord, I just
the
pray
only
that we
burden he had
continue
to
to
try
build
to
Mother's
restore the
heart,
world that
mind,
was
and
full of
soul.
conflict,
That we can
full of
continue to
division.
Our
clean our hearts, clean our
Brothers
minds,
fighting brothers,
become
neighbors
sound,
fighting neighbors,
dear God.
neighbors fighting
You said, let
neighbors.
every word of our mouth and the meditation of our
Just
hearts be acceptable in thy
bigger
sight.
conflict.
Lord, you are our
Pray
strength.
things
You
work
are
out.
our redeemer.
how much I
Thank
understood
you
then,
for your word this morning.
but not only
Physical force.
Everything Jesus taught,
It has
other
remember, dear God. He taught the truth.
physical force had
I
judging
am the truth,
power
the light,
their
and the
heart.
to
way.
dominate
Get
things.
anywhere unless
He
you come
didn't
through me. You
They,
spoke that with a sincere
bring
heart,
they
you down
with
here
nature.
to our
apply
You
the
can
negative
witness to
side
me.
attack
Let
first
us speak with
and
conviction.
to
Let us
destroy.
family.
prove that
Two parents gave
time of
us
the blue dragon, that
blessing.
You
everything was
raised up,
positive in our
you raised
hearts
up
and
Gave
minds.
us
Let us
to
know the devil
a name
attack and
like
provide a
clear,
center of
clear
the
path.
family.
waited to hear the
Let
truth.
clearly
Put
see
join us.
Two
We
parents
walk
gave
on
us
victory.
even you said
America
to me
was
last
raised
night,
up
chance
to
to be
defend
right
herself
in with
even in the
what
world.
for family.
Had to
Father
fight
Moon and
against
Mother Moon was saying.
Very
Oh
good.
my
Oh no,
God,
prevail
I'm trying to
against
go.
in the
communism.
book. He's been talking
But Father,
ever
how
since I met
much
him.
They
good
We have
so
people out there
accomplish.
like that, young people out there.
willing to
Father,
be
for the
We
aware
want
purpose.
to send those people
dictatorship,
to us, dear God.
But
Let
we
them knock on the door at
the
43rd
brain,
Street again.
for
the
the
We used to
strength of the democracies that
knocking
can
on the door.
remain united
I do not know how to
That
to
depend.
same
work
spirit
to
to come, maybe one seven,
enable
Father,
democracy,
maybe
to
43rd
enable
Street can become
free
depend.
and
light
fair
again. It can
world.
become open again. You'll put us in a
We
little
pray that
cave,
again
you
this
know, have
democracy
Kingdom
will
is near.
good drinks and where people
unite
can bring
together,
comfort
come
and
together,
Because of us, the
come
word
in
allow
of
that
God.
room and we can
for
have
First, the word of Jesus
and
videos
preached.
showing father and
building
mother and
more
Father,
peaceful,
how I
dear
more
God,
and
really
more
everything
just
depend.
world.
blessings.
When
Repentance is not asking
practical,
to
it is possible for
The ground,
you
put our
through
foot to the metal and
understandings to develop
that's shown, dear
your
God.
religion to develop.
On the words of our mouth and the
You can work
meditation of our heart
democracy more
be
easily,
acceptable in thy sight.
allow
Lord, you are our strength, you
benefit
are our
new
redeemer.
ideas to take hold.
or
Thank you.
Sure, sometimes
Mother,
banned or not
all our
allowed
fathers,
or health
in you in their
or money.
dictatorship or
is the
communism.
reference. She's everything.
Jew.
이 몸이 주고 또 주고 일백번 고쳐주고 백골이 진도되요 녹시라도 이고 없고 임형한 일변단심 가실 줄이 수랴 임형한 일변단심 가실 줄이 수랴.
Chunjian, Champumanimge, Kyungbae. Paro. Now I have 3 cheers of Okmanse.
경구이하옵신 하늘 부모님, 억만세, 천지엔 참부모님, 억만세, victory for the Chanchuman residents prayer, 억만세.
Pastor Milhan, you sing that song so beautifully.
Oh.
Thank you. Wow. We have any announcements?
You know, when I sing that song, I really imagine the words where I totally destroy myself and be reborn again. That's the meaning of the song. So I try to do that.
Well, today especially, you sing it more beautifully today, especially than any other time, I think, for some reason. Oh, there's Arlen. We haven't seen Arlen in a
Arlen,
while.
where have you been, bro?
See that face, so
We
pretty.
missed you. We missed you, Arlen. Wow. So happy to see you. So everybody have a wonderful Sunday. Happy Sunday.
Okay, happy
Good
Sunday.
luck, Milhan, with Sunday service. Reverend Sebastian, Takayoshi. Everybody have a wonderful Sunday service today. God bless you. Thank
Man,
you.
God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Alan.
Bye, Arlen.